What volunteering means to me is really to give in order that others can receive. And not only do they receive, but we receive back tenfold, whether it be that we're helping others, we're involved with an organization, but just the amount of friends that we've made as a result of our volunteering efforts has really been immense.
You know, while I hear often people say they volunteer to give back, that's just a piece of it for me. It's about giving back to make the world a better place, but it's really working in partnership with the Creator to make the world a better place.
I'd say in Jewish terms, we have a responsibility to live our life with certain obligations to other people, to our community, to our parents, to our children. And there are certain people who embody that, who live their lives that way quite deeply. Just last week, Debbie was with us for 7th day of Pesach for services, and I was talking to her, and she said that the next day she was going to lead services at a senior center, a nursing home in Chelsea, and that this is something she's done for years. And I was so impressed with her openness and her willingness to do this. And she said to me, you know, I get so much out of it. I just realize, I understand how lucky I am. And whenever I do it, I always, I share with Gary. The two of us share our sense of gratitude for what we have.
The North Shore has been home my entire life, 56 years. My roots run very deep. My grandparents of blessed memory settled here. They planted roots here. And that's what I share with my mother. She grew up her whole life here. Peabody was near and dear to her heart. So when I think of North Shore Jewish community, it's home. And that's why I really want to do as much as I do and as much as we do together, whatever we can do to make this home as comfortable and welcoming and beautiful as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited to be talking about Debbie and Gary. They are two of the most extraordinary people I know. When I think about Debbie, and I think about her primarily as a colleague because we've been working together for the last 7 or 8 years. I hadn't really known her before that, but I have to tell you, when I have a problem and I walk into her office and I share that problem, Debbie doesn't give suggestions, she acts. In 2008, when I had a problem with the fundraiser, she created a videotape for me. Just last month, I went into her office, and I was devastated by a problem I had. The next morning, I walked into my own office, and I found she had left a written piece of paper describing how to solve the problem.
It's easy to love people who show up with such enthusiasm and humility, who have so much to offer, but they don't do it in a showy way. They just do it as sort of matter of course. It's just how they want to be.
Visiting Israel with Wada I and Debbie was completely life-changing. I actually had the opportunity to go twice under 2 different aspects and opportunities, and both times were just absolutely amazing. And you know, you're raised to have a love for Israel and a love for Judaism and to try and, you know, keep your kids Jewish and all that stuff. And you know, it rings a bell when you're younger, but you truly don't understand what it means, because it's like, okay, Israel sounds like a great place. You know, it came from nothing, sand dunes in Tel Aviv, to one of the largest metropolitan cities in the world. And it's like, you know, you don't realize everything that went into it, and the, you know, the wars that were fought over it, and all the, you know, love for Israel. And, you know, finally once you go to Israel on Y to I, it's like, oh my gosh, you completely understand what they were saying. It's not just words, you truly feel it. And I can call it a second home now. I truly feel like I can call Israel a second home. And Debbie does such an amazing job, you know, bringing all 100 so or plus kids every single year and truly making them feel the same way. They can come from a home where they kept kosher, or they didn't even truly know, you know, what it was like to truly be Jewish. And they leave that trip all having an appreciation for Israel and being Jewish. And the community has to be so thankful for that, because every single year she's keeping 100 kids Jewish for the rest of their lives.
You know what? This honor, as I told Barbara, is not about us. It really isn't. It's our small way to honor 2 wonderful organizations.
The honor really is about the organizations.
Yes.
And agreeing to do this was in any small way that we can help these 2 wonderful organizations, which really are 2 of the jewels of the Jewish community, was important to us. And we did need to be convinced. And it primarily is due to the fact that I think we're humble, and we do what we feel is necessary and important. And there are so many others that contribute in a multitude of ways. So for us to be identified, we were very overwhelmed
And it's
by this
hard.
honor.
It's hard to say no to Barbara Schneider.
What makes Debbie so special to me is that she's somewhat of an inspiration to me, and she really makes me feel like a good Jewish person. One of the funniest stories with Debbie and Gary was when we went to the beach, and Gary was trying to use Hebrew words telling us to sit, and he would tell us to sit, but he thought it meant to stand up, and we would sit in the puddles, and he got really frustrated, but in the end it was just a really fun time.
Mazel tov, Debbie and Gary. I'm honored to be a part of the evening and to be able to thank you on the screen. So I look forward to many, many events at TAA with you.
I would just like to congratulate Debbie and Gary for being such an inspiring couple of the North Shore.
We can't thank you enough for what you've done for this community and every single year keeping our kids Jewish. And I know that because of you, I truly have an appreciation for what it's like to be Jewish.
Thank you, Debbie and Gary. You've always been there for me, and I'm so proud of you guys.
What I love about volunteering is anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. You don't need money to volunteer. All you need to do is take a piece of your time. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small, just whatever you can give back to make the world a better place.
Debbie and Gary, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for allowing us to honor you. This has been such a special experience for all of us.
This is Gamali, and her English name is Chloe, and she was a little upset because my seat is the front of the camel, and Gary got the front seat on the invitation.
So you're going to need to redo the invitations. Simple as that.
What would I like to say back to this community? You know what? We have a presidential and vice presidential ticket in 4 years, Schneider and Comito. They are two amazing women. Seriously, we don't see enough women in leadership, Jewish leadership positions. And I am in awe of these two ladies and the way they rally their troops. Schneider and Comito.
Debbie, Stacy and I accept. However, you have to be our chief of staff.